Right. Yo, yo, yo. We are live. Oh, shit. I gotta take off my damn Bluetooth. All right, we are live, man. We are live. We are live in this motherfucker, man. And yeah, as you can see, y'all, this is gonna be a interview stream on my hundred back. But this is gonna be an interview stream, ladies and gentlemen, an interview stream. Let me turn my camera on so y'all can see me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, we're gonna have a special guest. This guy right here. He calls himself Omeezy, aka Brotha Omar. He's a content creator because we just gonna start it right up. I don't even want to slack with y'all or whatever. If I told y'all 1 o'clock, if y'all ain't here by now, oh well. And we're gonna start it up with this brother, man, and he's a content creator out of the YouTube space, um, the AMP affiliate. But we'll get into more of that. We're gonna get into a lot of that, man. So and we're gonna uh keep it cordial like we always do, man. This is actually my first interview of the year, and I appreciate that. I hit this brother up on Twitter, and usually I never really know what to expect. I just hit people up, man. I just hit people up. I don't care. I hit up Aaron the plumber. He told me to hit his management. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. That's how motherfuckers do. I did music. I did the music industry. That's how things do. Um, So I hit him up, but they haven't hit me back either. But other than that, I hit this brother up on Twitter, man. He hit me back, and he said he was down to do it, man. And look, I need to stop slacking on myself, man. I love doing these interviews. I've been interviewing niggas for a long time, and we back at it again. Let's pull him up on the stage, man. And here we go, man. It's the old Meezy, brother Omar.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I hope my introduction. I'm still not really too good at introductions. I can only introduce myself really good. but
Right.
but welcome, man. Welcome a lot. So, I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I'm a small stream, man, and we're a small family, creator gang, and we come together, and we've been building things for a couple of years and stuff like that. We came up through the pandemic, and we watch some of your stuff on here too. You know what I'm saying? Because I watch a lot of just reaction channels and things of that nature. But as of late, I really became in love with like the creators. And I know we was talking off camera a little bit, but I was waiting till we get on camera.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell y'all this and tell everybody else this. You young niggas inspire us old niggas too.
Mm.
I'm gonna let y'all know that because if it wasn't for not even playback, if it wasn't for peer to peer, I wouldn't even think about doing this. I wouldn't even think about doing this. So you young niggas inspire us old niggas too, because there's a lot of us old niggas don't like to admit it. And that's real talk right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real talk because that's because I'm looking and I'm like, damn, and I'm looking at all these exposés of all these content creators and shit like that, and y'all are really like doing work, man. Like, and it's inspiring. You know what I'm saying? And one, it's inspiring to just see just young black folks just getting money and doing it for the love. It's a lot of motherfuckers that do it that don't do it for the love. They just do it for money. And I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of motherfuckers quit. You know what I'm saying? I've been I started doing my shit in music, and King Louis was one of my first. Like when the Chicago drill
Mhm.
started to boom, like King Louis, Lil Durk. I have all these online. Um, and I interviewed all them back in the day. So I started off in music, and this is no different than music. I still interview artists and shit like that, but it's just like I started off doing that, and I feel like, and let me ask if you agree. I feel like anybody in media is always doing like a switch. Like they maybe start off doing one thing, and then maybe doing another. How about? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, you always got to reinvent yourself. I mean,
Mm,
whatever comes natural to you or whatever opportunities present itself, you never want to shut yourself off. So, um, sometimes you can see roadblocks and either you could fight through the roadblocks, which I think is where a lot of people get tripped up. They
yeah.
fight through the roadblocks in order to get to a certain goal, or they can make that pivot and go down a path that is probably more sustainable, with the trends or whatever the case may be. Um, so sometimes I mean, you got to be flexible. I've maintained the idea that flexibility is what promotes growth, as opposed to trying to just force your way through, a Cheerio sized hole
Mhm.
for your
What
rest of your life.
what about inspiration? What that mean to you?
I mean, it means everything,
Mhm.
and you got to make sure that you have the right inspiration. But I think where people go wrong, because I was talking to some young guys the other day, the things that inspire them aren't as long lasting as they think. It's just today is what inspires them,
Mhm.
and they try to stick on to that for a long time. It should be more from an internal perspective, um, that inspires you. It's something that you want to do. It's something that makes you happy. It's something you couldn't see yourself living without. But I think a lot of people get inspiration from other places and spaces.
Mhm.
I might get inspiration from X creator. I might get inspiration from my mom, my wife, my kids, my daughter, my son, my husband, whatever the case may be. But they don't realize, a lot of times, a lot of people don't care.
Mhm.
And when you find out that's the real, your favorite creator is a scumbag, or your
Mhm.
husband really wants you to quit doing this, you lose your inspiration,
Mhm.
unless it comes from the internal.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I think that's where it starts from, man. That's where it starts from. I like to look back at my life and see the things that inspired me. Like my uncle, I mean, I don't say he don't say I ain't gonna say a scumbag. He ain't no scumbag. But the nigga had a lot of women and he was just one of those kind of okay, I'll say one of those kind of loser types. Like my mom was trying to get him signed to like death row and he didn't want to get on a plane. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But and but just looking at him as I grew up, right? I wonder like why is this nigga playing music so loud? Like why is he just playing music for 24 hours so loud? And it kinda molded me because I play music. Sometimes I like to turn that shit up loud and just play it and just vibe out to it, you know what I'm saying? Because he was vibing, he was catching a wave. A lot of his internal things that he had to deal with, of course, that was internal, but I paid attention to those too, and I always paid attention to just a lot of what my past was. I'm big into movies. My
Mhm.
mother worked in a movie theater. I was always in movies, and to this day, I still talk about movies. Like, what are some things that you just look back or just happen to look back at times? Because I remember I don't wanna be sound like an old head. Fuck it, I'm an old head. 39, man. Look, and I recently or early 30s, I look back at my life a lot to just kinda culminate what I am today. And do you look at that too?
Oh yeah, I'm very old head coded, so
Okay.
all this is definitely gonna relate. Um, but no, all my past experiences, especially because there's some new changes that are happening in my real life.
Mm,
So I'm looking back at how X person got this perspective and how X and Y person got that perspective, but more importantly, how I got the perspective, or what the perspective is that I got and how that's shaping me today. Um, when I was young, my father died when I was 8 years old. I was
okay.
8 years old,
Condolences.
and so um, I had to do a lot of different things than a lot of different people.
Mhm,
And not was it just him that died, it was he died in like 2005, and then for probably 10 straight years, I know that sounds crazy,
mhm,
probably like 10 straight years somebody in my life died.
mhm,
That was significant. I'm talking about like a grandfather. I was born into this world with only one grandmother, and then maybe a year or two after I was born, my other grandmother died, so I didn't know, like, I've had a lot of death in my life.
mhm,
But so that made me experience things differently than the average person. And so when we just talk about even the negative or the positive inspirations, I was forced to be in different places and spaces, grow up a little bit more, see different things and see that these things inspire me, to be a better person, to do different things. An example, my fiance just yesterday was talking about weddings,
mhm,
and she wasn't the most excited. She's not. not that she's not excited, but she wasn't the most excited about our wedding. And when my family asked her about the date and all this, that, and the third, she was like, "Oh, I kind of pressed."
Mhm.
I was telling her, like, a wedding in our family is inspirational because we see more funerals than anything.
Right, right,
That's
yeah.
that's the common thing. So just to see somebody's even talking about moving in that direction inspires people to get creative. They want to all of a sudden save money, lose weight, all this other stuff. And if that's what they got to use as their inspiration, that's what they got to use.
Yeah, yeah, especially, yeah. I mean, speaking of, like, just death in the family, yeah, my grandmother from my stepfather's side, you know what I'm saying, had passed on Christmas, year before,
Mm,
not this last Christmas, but the year before. Then my mother passed last year, which was
mm.
more so devastating to myself. Now, I never experienced the 10 years of just losing folks, but, just with my mother passing right there,
I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm not gonna lie to you. The mother passing
mhm,
is probably, to at least from my perspective, the equivalent of like 8 of the people that I lost in that 10 years. But I could not imagine my mother losing. So
mhm.
I you have a strong pair of shoulders, my friend. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's well, on top of that, it's just, I have a little brother, I have a sister, and my little
Mm,
brother was down there, was really her caretaker and everything like that. My mother, moved down to, Tulsa, Oklahoma,
mhm,
and, she moved down there, and yeah, man, I to be strong, 'cause things that are going on in my own life and and then on top of that, like, it was hard for me to really visit her. I
mhm.
made sure that I always contacted her and talked to her, but, you know, to be honest, I only really visited her, like, 1 or 2 times, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I can beat myself up about that, but at the end of the day, my mother just wanted me to be okay.
Yeah.
It's just like in Endgame, you know what I'm saying? What they say to Tony, "You're gonna be okay."
Yeah, it's gonna be okay.
Like, just go, like, go. It's gonna be okay, and you're gonna see me. I watch a lot of movies, man, so you're gonna see me quote a lot of movies a lot like that. Even though motherfuckers say, "What the fuck you quote a Marvel movie for like that? Like, what, until your mother's death." I mean, my nigga, that's how I do it. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, what might not, like everybody, what might not seem important to you, or maybe significant to you in a saying, you know what I mean? Seems significant to me. You know what I'm saying? My mother used to love movies, and she used to love Keanu Reeves. You know what I'm saying? So, and she used to love, Purple Rain, Prince, all that shit. So that's the type of stuff that I still play to this day. That's the type of stuff that I still honor to this day. I got a thing of her DVDs back there. I still, have. I only took a couple though. I only took a couple.
mhm.
Purple Rain was one of them. Batman. She used to love Michael Keaton. She used to love a lot of white guys. It was a lot of man. It's a lot of white dudes. But yeah, but other than that, man, like, yeah, I just try to with that, I just try to just carry on. And I even had a health scare a few weeks ago. Like
Mm,
I tell my stream everything as far as like just opening up or whatever. And they knew about it. And I'm just trying to make my life a little bit better. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? I had a girlfriend for like 5 or 6 years. She left me. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I'm the type of person that I never wanted to be a burden on anybody.
yeah.
I never wanted to be, and I always told my ex, I was like, if I feel like I'm holding you back, then do what you got to do. I know what type of man I am. I know what type of man I feel like I need to be, and I want to do certain things with you, like get married or whatever. Because I know you brought that up. Uh, but at the same time, like I want to be prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you feel like I'm holding you back, I can't be mad at that. I was always the type of person that uh made sure that I don't want to stress over a lot of things. And I always want to make stuff easier for myself. You know what I'm saying? And when I was researching researching you a little bit, and you were saying you was going to college and sleeping on your friend's floor and stuff like that, like you was still making it happen. Because one thing you did say, you said school was important to you. And why you think at that time and then today, do you think it's still a difference, or you feel that way?
I think I think it still remains the same. And maybe sometimes that gets misquoted, or misinterpreted, and I said it as school being important, so that's how it should be. I think education is important just overall, but I still see the value in traditional schooling. Even when I was sleeping on the floor with my friends under the bed, sharing the shower, trying to scrounge up dollars to eat some meals, really living off of ramen noodles because I wasn't supposed to be there. Um,
Dry ramen noodles at that. What
yeah,
you
dry
doing, man?
ramen noodles, trying to make if we all had $10 to pitch in to make one big pot meal, trying crazy experience. But even then, when I didn't know what I was gonna do, I still had an idea as to what I was gonna do, and it was definitely continuing to move forward. And I think, and I've said this before, but I think that just continuing to move forward, no matter how long it took me, was going to benefit me in the long run. Not only from a perspective of, okay, you got your degree, you got your, whatever the case may be, but I also have a unique perspective, experience, and knowledge base that not a lot of people have. I got friends who went straight through and they're burnt out. I'm
Mhm.
28 now, and I just had my 10-year high school reunion last year.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to some people and seeing some people on their stories and all this other stuff, and they are already burnt out but that's because they never took that time to live their life uh, and experience the other side of education, which is being educated in life.
Mhm.
They went straight through school, hopped back into school, hopped into a job, and now they just burnt out. But they never figured out the what life is, and sometimes that means having the breaks, experiencing different things, sleeping on that floor, working the two jobs, uh, looking at different dreams and perspectives, and moving your eyeballs to other areas or whatever. So they got the traditional education. So to to the main point, I said school was important, and I still agree with it today. But I should frame it as education being important, and education being like not just in the books, but in life, in the streets, in relationships, especially
Yeah.
romantic or otherwise, health and fitness, all that. Just education from an entirety is important.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna tell with education with me. I'm gonna say right now, my nigga, I hated school. I hated elementary school. I hated elementary school. I never like you used to do homework. I think I was just traumatized. I had one of them parents and like that meme where it'd be like yelling at you and shit like, "What's
Mhm.
2 plus 2?" or shit like that, but making it simple. But you know what I'm saying? Like it just made me just dread and hate doing homework, doing work. Uh, I would. Funny thing is, I would get 100% on my spelling test,
Mhm.
but everything else, no, man. I was bombing that test, dog. I didn't even pass 8th grade. I got held back in 8th grade. I got held back in 8th grade, and then I went to high school and was in this program where it was like everybody that got held back, and then I got held back in high school,
Mm.
and then I went to college because my parents was always gonna make me go to school. They didn't give a damn. They was always gonna make me go to school. Now the ways that they did it, well, I gotta go and fill out financial aid by my damn self, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so it's like with that, and then I went to community college. I went to college, and I still wasn't doing well. The only class I was doing well in was uh radio and TV class, and for some reason, I think I wanted to be in radio when I was younger. I can't really remember, but I did wanted to do something in music. You know what I'm saying? I was always really like musically inclined. I couldn't my mother put me in like a band. I couldn't play no damn band. I could play no damn trombone. They'd always get a fat nigga trombone too. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, my dog. But then the doors opened up where there was a music production class where I could make beats. And so I was in there making beats, and I was terrible at that too. But commentary was something that came to me late, to be honest with you. Because after I left community college and I was with a girlfriend at that time, I broke up with her, and I started going back to radio school where they opened up a trade radio school, and I was thinking like, okay, I can do this. I can do this shit. Like, okay, go to a radio school, do some radio edits, learn about radio, and then learn about production too, like, yeah, I can do this. So I went there and I was a motherfucking all-star when I went there. Like I got my internship at one of the best, one of the only, like, like what's the biggest radio station in Atlanta?
Scott Black Radio Hot 1079. Gotta
I
be on.
107.
Yeah.
Okay, so WGCI. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I was interning at WGCI. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, this is easy for me. This is easy for me. Getting on the mic was easy for me. But it was still a lot of shit that I had to learn. You said you went to school for, what was your major? Science,
Started off as biology, and then it went to ultimately ended up being computer science.
computer science. But even when you stepping into this realm now, this is more of a communications type of thing. Damn near radio. I call this radio. At some point, well, I make my streams out of radio, but this is basically a communications broadcasting because we're broadcasters at the end of the day. You're
Yeah.
a broadcaster at the end of the day. You yes, you tell us about streamers and things in the streaming world, or just things outside of that, like Jello Ball. Like, why the fuck is he at Rolling Loud? But hey, also, what's the name was at Rolling Loud too? AB. So, but like,
Was it?
do
Oh
you,
yeah, a couple years ago, yeah, he was.
yeah. So, do you look at it like that too, where it's like this is a different realm, and you still learn from it, right?
Yeah, and I think well, one, it's important to know that you stayed until you found something. You stayed with the education game until you found something that ultimately you like. And then two, this is definitely still the communications game. And what's funny is I have these conversations with my peers all the time. A lot of especially the younger kids got into this game, the content creation game,
Hmm.
because they wanted to do different, see different, and be different than what was on the traditional means. But after a certain amount of time, it's funny because they just end up becoming the same thing that they wanted to be different as. And not saying that that's a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing inherently, but it's just strange when like um we could take it to the music space or the basketball space. A lot of these people wanted to go away from being the source or from being double XL or from being ESPN and first take. But now after a certain amount of time, they've just become the new version of the source or double XL or ESPN or first take or whatever the case may be. And they don't understand that they got the they're doing some of the same things, replicating some of the same processes. And what they probably definitely miss out on is if they would have went to school for this stuff earlier or got some sort of traditional training, invested in traditional training, I feel like a lot of them would be so much more further uh,
Mm,
than where they are today,
mm,
as opposed to trying to fight the wheel and then end up figuring out, oh, I just gotta. They end up saying, I gotta figure out something new,
mm.
and they ultimately make a new wheel trying to reinvent the wheel. If that
Exactly.
makes sense.
No, no, it makes sense because like some people that I watch, like the LA Try Guy, you basically dash your diners and drives.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or Peaks.
yeah,
I fuck with Peaks a lot. Like, and but Peaks is a little bit different where he's entertaining in himself, so he knows how to be performative a little bit in his videos. And if he hones that a little bit more, I think he would be more, more so like up there, whatever. Um, and even with like Kai, like I see like Kai, and then I see like Phantom and stuff like that, and then I just started like really delving into um, all of them and seeing like the difference between all of them. And with Phantom, he represents something for the Spanish side that a lot of people don't get. Like when Big Pun came out, I'm about to sound old. When Big Pun came out, and not even like It's So Hard came out or whatever. But when his second album came out, like Yeah Baby, like motherfuckers was really like anticipating that because he was a Spanish dude. In the hip hop realm, it was kind of hard to just stay in that realm. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So like I respect a lot of that shit. I do. Like I respect a lot of that. I respect a lot of just even the commentary, like of what you do. And yeah, there's other people out there. Shout out to Souls. I just started watching him, and your other people too. From what was the podcast
let's
you was
keep it a
on?
buck.
LKIA.
Yeah, LKIB. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it a buck. Okay. Yeah, like a lot of those guys, man. And I tend to I guess, be drawn to maybe certain people that can explain it to me where I can understand it, and that's how I got drawn to you. I didn't even know you was such and such brother until I like looked at you a little bit. I'm like, wait, that motherfucker look like motherfucking low a little
Legend.
bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, well, okay. So I was like, but I didn't even know. Gee, I didn't even know that after watching you for a couple of videos. I just like the content. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this was just an outlet to 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 just these this stream of news that we are never gonna get. Well, now we get it because motherfuckers pick it up and shit. But did you ever think about that? Like that when you first did your channel, you was gonna be the outlet like that for this?
I never let me say first of all, I never wanted to be in content creation.
Right. Yeah,
Like
because you
in
got
a
expired.
I I never saw it as so my brother is Legend of Winning and he's been doing YouTube videos. I tried to look it up the other day.
Mhm.
It's probably been a decade at this point.
Yeah.
Um if I get the let me see Legend.
But you said you was in a couple of video I mean, you worked behind the scenes with them a lot and everything like that.
Well, let me in the
Yeah.
beginning, definitely not. I know
Mm.
so my brother started YouTube 8 years ago.
He
8
was
years.
a graphics designer, right?
No, this is his first video on his channel.
Oh, okay, okay, I got
First video on his channel 8 years ago. I think he had some other stuff a little bit before that, but first video on his channel was 8 years ago,
you.
and it blew up. Now, I didn't know what he was doing. My mom didn't know what he was doing. We just knew he was in the back room because he was still living at home at the time.
Yeah.
He had been graduated high school, but he was just in our in the back room just yelling, right?
Right, right.
And even then, I still was never curious about it, didn't look into it.
Mhm,
When I was in school, social media was still very much a thing. Facebook, MySpace, Instagram was coming out popping. I was not into it. I was like intentionally not into it. I don't really know why.
mhm,
Coming out of school, even knowing what my brother did, still wasn't into it. So like a lot of my peers will have content creators from when they were younger. Oh yeah, I was in early high school, middle school watching so and so and such and such. That was still not my path.
mhm,
But then to fast forward, um, I would make little rants and stuff on like Snapchat and Instagram,
mhm.
but still never thought of content creation being a serious thing. And then even when I get into creating content, I was I was trying to work on the back end. Like
Mhm,
I was trying to be a behind the scenes dude. Um, Even though I knew I had like a personality for being in front of the camera, I could bring my own presence, my own flair, or whatever the case may be. Um, and coming down to it, people were just like, okay, you got to make a channel, you got to make a channel, you got to take advantage of it. The only thing I knew that I could do consistently was yap. I could talk. I don't know.
Okay.
I could yap it up, and that's when I got into the commentary game, the storytelling game, just trying to perfect that craft.
Mhm,
And naturally I would have opinions about stuff that would end up on the internet.
mhm,
But did I ever think the perfect storm would happen where my brother and his an agent
mhm.
would end their channel where they did commentary at around the same time where I really started to dig deep and get into my commentary bag? I would have never imagined that. I
Even
couldn't even think it.
and let's go back a little bit 'cause I wanna
Yeah, go back.
I wanna see, y'all relationship. So it was good. You was one of those little brothers that stayed out of my business type of little brother. I see, huh? I like
Yeah,
that.
I was trying to barge in his room but it was on some other like just basketball stuff. We just talk about basketball, but for the most part, I was
Mhm.
letting him rock. I don't care what you're doing, just at a certain time because I was still in high school with me. Shut up, shut up. I gotta
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
sleep.
yeah. And
Yeah.
basketball, well, I guess that was something that you and him would come together on, 'cause like me and my little brother, video games was something that we came
Mhm.
together on, you know what I'm saying? It's always something that connects the two of the siblings, and you say you would say basketball is one of them.
Yeah, basketball would definitely be the commonality between me and my brother.
Mm, mm. And well, I mean, who was like, I guess, well, who's your favorite, like, players back then or whatever?
He's a Kobe guy. I'm a LeBron guy.
You
Um,
got 'em, right,
but
okay.
definitely, yeah, yeah.
Okay, Imma let you know right now. I don't know how many Chicago niggas you know, but we are very biased. So we only gon' probably just gonna say Jordan, and we only gonna say D Rose. So that's that's all I know, man. That's really all I know. I don't really watch well, I watch basketball a little bit. I used to really be into 2K a lot,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, with playing or whatever like that. And my my little brother, once again, young niggas inspiring the older niggas. My little brother used started playing Park,
Mhm.
and I'm like, gee, what? I'm like, what's this? He's like, oh, this is Park. My little brother's like young. He just turned 21, so
Mhm.
the age gap is like big. And but I like the fact that he always played video games. And I never, my parents looked at video games like, oh, that's bad for you and all that stuff. I embraced my little brother in playing video games. I even told him, like back in the day, you could have been a streamer like early with your career. You know what I'm saying? Especially with y'all, because y'all was playing COD and all that stuff in 2K, and y'all was like really good at it. So I used to embrace, like I used to do. Remember when Mario came out on Wii?
Yeah.
I was so excited to get my little brother Mario on Wii. I was so excited, but I wanted him to relive that. You know what I'm saying? Like those times because I was playing uh what was it, Double Dragon, like Sonic. I even knew the little code to get the gold Sonic on Sonic 2.
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like deep into video games. Now, man, I'm washed. I am really washed.
We in
Like
the
it's
same boat. We in the same boat, trust me.
okay, okay. Well, look, I'll tell you how washed I am. I watched the streamer beat Wukong in like a week that it took me damn near 2 months to beat. And I bought Wukong the first day that it came out. And I even had to go on YouTube and look for tips and tricks. But one of my things is that I do for the stream is that I try to do the hardest challenges.
Mm.
So whoever's like the hardest boss or whatever like that, like I don't know if you played any like God of War, but I just played God of War 2018 for the first time, like like last year, maybe a year and a half ago, and I beat every fucking Valkyrie, every Valkyrie on there, and that's tough to
Mhm.
beat every Valkyrie on there. So that's why I try to give back to the stream or whatever like that. But as far as like with you and your brother, what was other things I guess you could say y'all shared besides like just the sports?
When we were younger, um, I tell you this all the time. When we were younger, we did not have the best relationship.
Okay.
I used to not like. I'm not even gonna say not like because my mom's siblings they truly did not like each other. So
Mm,
there's a different level. But being real neutral in him, I mean, we would get into arguments, just brother stuff. But he was just in a whole different world than I was. And it's
okay.
funny because we had some similarities. It was just that we never sat down and discussed it.
Mm,
And because like we both like battle rap, but
mhm,
always kept it separate, which is hindsight, just thinking about it, it's just so strange. Like
mhm,
even now, we both like sneakers. We still don't really connect about it like that. Both like basketball. We connect on basketball. Back then, we both like battle rap, but we didn't really connect on battle rap. We liked anime, didn't really connect on anime.
mhm,
Um, when we were both into wrestling, I'm talking about even when we were younger, we probably connected more on the wrestling. Video games, I will say when we both were playing video games, but I definitely stopped playing video games before he stopped playing video games.
mhm.
But so there was some stuff where we just connected, but I don't know. Do you have a sibling that's close to you in age?
No, not at all.
No.
My sister's 9 years younger than me.
It's strange because you would think that the way that my mom would comment on this, the way that we connected
Mhm,
was like we had a 9-year age gap, but our age
mhm.
gap is only 3 years.
Okay. Oh, okay. Damn, I didn't even know that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, the
Cause,
age gap is like 3 years.
cause with me, my real father, he had kids. He got 11 kids, but I never really connected with them, and they're closer to me in age.
Mhm.
But they always knew me as this like I don't know, like Trojan horse. Like yeah, it's weird. It was like, oh, you got a big brother. His name Isaiah. He does all this, blah 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 blah. So it was like that, man. And I don't know. I still feel for my siblings today, and I still like to be around them. I'm a keep in touch type of dude.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's how like I guess the difference between you and him relationship is compared to like me and mine's or whatever like that. I'm just a real, you know, togetherness type dude and um even though you might not hear from me, I'm around and I'm gonna let you know I'm around type dude. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
and what's crazy is I'm like the same way.
Mm.
I like to be in touch a little bit more. So I'm calling everybody every week, quote unquote everybody every week. I'm talking to them more. But my brother is definitely I am more distant. Hey, if you need me, call me, but make sure you
Right.
need me before you call me. And then it's interesting though, because the thing that made everything flip was content. Content made everything change for our relationship,
Mm.
as far as speaking goes and communicating. Once I got into content, I felt like we were talking like every single day. For
Yeah, yeah, it seemed like that, but I can still I can see that though because y'all don't do that much content together.
Yeah. And we also talking about we're not doing too much content together. So then that's made us want to, because I think people that do content together sometimes after you get done doing the content, you don't want to talk to that person.
And you look, you know what's funny? Okay, so you say that right. It's funny. You say that right. You should, well, not you should, but look at some of radio people and or just like any of them, like the crews, like a two-man radio crew, right? A
Mhm.
lot of these radio dudes don't talk to each other after that. It's you'll be surprised of how that shit is. You know what I'm saying? Like some old radio guys out here, they would say like, yeah, we would do the show, but we don't hang out with each other. We don't talk to each other after that. And yeah, that's true. It's just like how it is. I used to do a podcast. I used to do a DJ podcast in the city, right? And we have hella motherfuckers on. I'm talking about hella motherfuckers on. And yeah, one of the dudes that was the head of the podcast, David Drake. Yeah, we talked. You know, because how we met was I had invited Little Dirk and his people. Little Dirk was like, um, he had like this lady that was like being like a caretaker or whatever, and she was like having all these artists. And I talked to her, and she was like, "Yeah, I got like 12 artists, whatever." But and we was gonna put up in the school and do the interviews. But I was like, man, let's just do it like in the basement. 'Cause these niggas don't have guns and shit.
Mhm.
And so it was like, and we had them up in there, and then this it was this white journalist up in there named David Drake, and I had met him, and that's how we kind of started years later, started doing the DJ podcast or whatever, and we just got close just from just being around the culture. But as far as like us hanging out a lot, because it was also a woman that did the podcast with us too, we didn't hang out like that much. You know what I'm saying? We would have like episodes. We would have like episodes where in the DJ podcast where we would just be like, God damn, like that was a good episode. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a Joe Freshgoods episode, you know what I'm saying, where it was like the last time Joe Freshgoods. I don't know if you heard it. You probably yeah, 'cause you
Yeah,
like
yeah,
shoes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you like shoes. So
Yeah.
so a lot of people don't even know Joe Freshgoods DJ.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Um,
saying? Like, a lot of people don't even know that, and that was, like, one of his last DJ sets that we had on our show, and we was just thinking like, "Damn, well, shit, that's monumental." You know what I'm saying? But we never could really take the podcast too far, or whatever, because people have their own agenda, and one thing about working with other people, even in content, is that especially in music, is that, hey, yeah, at this time we might, motherfuckers ain't have a penny to their name. I had a bullshit job at the time. He had a bullshit job at the time. Motherfuckers were struggling. Motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? When the opportunity come up for anybody, sometimes you just got to take it,
yeah.
especially for financials. You know what I'm saying? I wish we can come back to do it. I wish we can do it, but it's just harder. I mean, do you think it's harder just collaborating with anybody doing content, like, or even just trying to do a podcast? I remember I can't think of you. You brought up doing a podcast, doing one podcast that it was tough. I did a podcast before. I tried to do a podcast with my close friends. Oh, these niggas is location problems. Oh, we don't want to come here because I live all the way up north. Blah blah blah. I don't want to say too much because my mind he gonna go crazy. He gonna say, "Oh no, it's your fault. You did it." This nigga up in here be nice, but yeah, he always blames me. I blame him, but it just the shit couldn't just come together. You feel like
I think,
sometimes it's the same way?
but so I think, and this is what a lot of people don't understand. I think the value in having a group is invaluable. Profound.
Mm,
Having
mm,
a group is invaluable. Doing group projects is invaluable. But it is arguably the biggest headache, the biggest, like, brain grab, the biggest, it just thing to be frustrated. If you want to be frustrated, start a group project. If you want to be sick and worried and throwing up and not eating, start a group project. Because not only do you have to worry about the project in and of itself, you have to then people manage.
Hmm.
And it's just the most, it makes you just tap your skull and be like, "Ah, why? But so, like, I think that I think group projects are terrible. However, I think also group projects are the thing that can help you skyrocket to a different level of success, help you
Hmm.
get off the ground, help you stay motivated, et cetera, et cetera. I think even Mr. Beast will talk about when he was um a younger dude, Mr. Beast, the white guy from YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. His story, if you ever hear his story about he was in high school and then going into college and how he just would just essentially lied to his mom, said I was going to college, and he would just drive his car away and sit in a parking lot and for like 10 hours a day, 15 hours a day, 16 hours a day, just talk to dudes on the phone about
Mm,
YouTube.
mm,
And they would just talk and analyze and write stuff down and talk and analyze and write stuff down. And hey, what are you doing? I'm doing this. What are you doing? I'm doing this. Da, 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 da. When you are creating on your own, all you have is your own perspective, your own thoughts, your own opinions, the comments that may be already on your side, so they're not really helping, and then the analytics that whatever platform gives you. You don't
mhm,
have somebody else's outside perspective to say, like, yeah, that's a good idea, that's a bad idea, that's a cool idea, it could be better, or hey, that's a bad idea, but it could have been worse, just to give you that constructive criticism.
mhm,
Um, so I mean the power in creating group content is just immeasurable, but at the
mhm,
same time, that's why I had to do my own channel because I could not doing it. I can do it. I can do it in a group setting, and even though I still do it in a group setting, I love doing it in a
mhm.
group setting.
Right.
But I know I sound like a contradiction, but it's just such a hard balance. But it could bring you to the greatest heights in the world.
Yeah.
That's if everybody is on the same accord, though.
Yeah, and I feel like with me, everybody was on the same accord as far as, like, I think everybody was great on the mic. Like, me and my niggas, like, they do different things. One's a barber, one's a truck driver, one's a bartender. But I think all these niggas is great on the mic. And that was the one thing that was pulling me. I always thought it couldn't work, to be honest with you. I always because of our dynamic. We are all high school friends.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So we are all high school friends. So that's why look, I started doing I started going to radio school and doing like radio content and all that shit in 2010.
Hmm.
So I've been doing it that long. We didn't start the group project until the pandemic,
Mm,
but I always believed in them and I always believed that they can do great and we can do great on the mic. And even when I listen back to the because we got through 10 episodes before we put anything live.
mm.
And so when I go through the episodes, and I still have some up on my SoundCloud. And when I go through the episodes, them shit sound golden. To me, they sound golden because we just all on sync. We talking. We ain't had the thing about worrying about topics and things like that. We would really just talk,
Yeah.
and the balance of how we all just talked. It was just magical to me. You know what I'm saying? And like my boy, my mod, D Nice. I always looked at him as somebody that can be a great side character. You know what I'm saying? Like a great side character. Like what see he's saying it right now. You killed the pod. But but like you probably wouldn't remember this shit. But like Ricky Lake, like those talk shows, Ricky Lake, and shit like that. She what was his name? Job or something like that. He would come on and just roast people.
Yeah.
And then if you remember back in the day when they would have like those sidekicks that would just come on the radio. I always had that idea for him where like if I ever do radio, I want you to come on and ask me what you hating on today. Rude Jude. Yeah, Rude Jude is one of them. But I always used to tell D Nice, if I ever start doing radio for real, 'cause it's hard to get a job in radio. But if I ever started doing radio for real, I want you to be that side character to me. Where I call in and I ask you what you hate, what's pissing you off today. There's always something pissing them off. But it was more to it. Me personally, I just thought it was more to it to him just being pissed off. I felt like it was his commentary. I
Yeah.
feel like he was able to perform and things of that nature. And like, yeah, man, like I don't know, like yeah, see this content game, it just it just kind of makes you think about that, and especially over the years. And like I said, when we come together, and I would love to come together again to do that, but it's just with me and my friends, it gets a little bit too much. And if and I wish I could show you this one stream that we had that it got a little bit too much, but motherfuckers was sitting there crying, and I was just like, man, no,
But
I'm gonna have
see,
to erase this one.
and the other thing about like having the IRL, I've been friends with you,
Hmm.
like type of people on the platform, is that right? There is emotions involved. There is history, like real life history. This ain't fake life history, and
Hmm.
they have to understand. Because I think the content game now, as much as people say, oh, it's leaning towards authenticity, there's still a level of it where it's just content.
Yep.
You kind of got to just leave it at just leave it at that. Like if I call you a punk, or if I try you or something like that, some of that is just content.
Yeah.
If I try to make a joke about cheating on the girl, and you put in, I want you to put in your 2 cents, and you over here saying to yourself, oh, come on man, my girl don't really like that. If she don't understand it, it's just content, then it's going to be detrimental to the group. So I never even thought, because I've had some friends ask me to do some content with them, like my IRL friends,
Mm,
and I've never wanted to do anything like that. People always post for me and my brother to do content.
mm,
I'm not gonna say I never. I do have a dream of doing something with my brother, but it serves a different purpose, and I don't think we would make it personal. But also, he is a content creator, so like I think he would be able to understand that it's content. But that's what I'm saying about the group aspect. The people management in it of itself is a whole nother job. Forget about the editing, forget about all the other
mm.
people management.
But even with that, the what I was talking about with the crying and shit, that was just over some. We were having a sexuality conversation. It didn't even get personal. It didn't even get personal.
They took it personal.
I guess so. But just the perspectives, man.
Yeah.
Like just the perspectives of that. Like it just got real personal. But what you just said, I want to go back to that. And I mean, we was just talking off stream before we got on, and I was talking about the JBP community, the Joe Budden community, right? I have a rant on my Twitch page about about 30-minute rant, and the main thing that my rant is to make these niggas content. I'm a mod on one of these Joe Budden networks uh Reddit pages.
Mhm.
Oh, and I make them niggas content every time. Every time they come on that motherfucker, man, I make the nigga content. Sometimes it makes the pod. It was one time where Mandy from Horrible Decisions.
Mhm.
She was oh yeah, well yeah, I know about Mandy. I remember that shit, man. Mandy tried to get at motherfuckers, but about playing video games. Stop. But Mandy was on live, and Mandy kind of goes on live almost every day. And Ish was in the comments, and Ish had said, "Your box is trash." Oh, I screenshotted that shit, put it up on the Reddit. This nigga Ish was tight. He was like, how did they do that? It's on one of the pods. I can't remember one of the pod episodes, but he was like, how did they do that? But he acting like it took me all day to just get this shit.
Right.
My nigga, you did it, and then I got off the live. That's how we make you content. We make you content. So one of the things that in the Joe Budden community, and especially in the Spaces community, that they know me for is to make niggas content, and I have learned that from Reddit a lot. To make these niggas content because I'll post shit up. I'll post just a simple conversation of this person confronting this person, and I'll type it up in a way where I make motherfuckers want to go in the Reddit and comment on it. And I'm learning that in real time. I didn't learn that back in 2010. In
Mhm.
2010, all I learned how to do was sit down with people and interview people, and that's what I was really like getting into and really crafting up and really trying to hone and shit because it was some people in Chicago that was doing a lot like Zach TV and stuff like that, and they were doing a lot for the community. RP to Zach TV, and even though Zach TV didn't have the best interview style, he was still getting something out of them at the end of the day because you seen some type of connection that they wanted to have with him, or just niggas just wanted to be on camera too back then too.
Yeah.
But now look at all the Chicago rappers now. They all commentators now. It's all commentators. So it's just like that. Just like the what we were talking about earlier is just like the pivoting, the pivoting and things of that nature. Do you even see yourself? I guess, or because sometimes we don't even see it coming. Me personally, I never seen it coming where I would learn how to DJ. I would never see it coming where I would be interviewing creators. I thought I'd just be interviewing rappers and being on Complex or something like that. Do you feel like you sometimes see it coming with the pivot?
I've learned in my life because again, going back a little bit to when I was going into college the first time, the thing that I went through oppression of being like miserable or sad or whatever, but
Yeah.
it was about my life decisions, and it was because I was trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Mm.
I wanted to be when I was younger, I wanted to be a dentist,
Okay.
and just going to school, going this route, forcing it this way, I'm gonna make sure I stay in these classes and do da da da. Da. At the time, it was just so much of a force,
Mm.
and so I took a little break, took me a gap year, uh, met some different people, opened up my horizons, started going to the gym more, started going to the different sides of Atlanta, and just said to myself, really, I'm going to make myself open and available to whatever is to present itself to me, any and every opportunity.
Mm.
And I think that that's the whole thing about the pivot thing is you can't see it coming. You don't see it coming. You might be able to get better at reading the tea leaves as you get older, which you should be able to do just in general.
Yep.
But two things that can make you go wrong is trying to anticipate that pivot too much or trying to find that pivot. Or well, three things. Anticipating that pivot too much, trying to find a pivot, like force find a pivot,
Mm.
and then also not being accepting of the potential pivot that you need to take. Because when you try to anticipate or force that pivot, you start to do things that's out of pocket, out of character. Okay, I was going live at 6 p.m. Let me see the people go live later at 11 p.m. Maybe that works for me.
Mm.
And you start to lose half your audience. Or all right, well, everybody's doing this type of training. Let me do this type of training. Let me do this type of work. Forcing something that's not for you is gonna make you get burnt out. Now you're not going to the gym no more because that's not what you want to do anyway, and
Mm.
it's killing you. And then as we seeing in this pandemic or this recession or whatever what's going on since 2020, as things are moving and somebody that force is on your back telling you you need to change, you need to do something different, and you're not available to do it or you're not open or willing or able to do it, that force is going it's going to push you on your back to tell you to move. If you
Mm.
don't move, it's going to go right around you and it's going to push the next person. And the only thing that's going to happen is in a couple years, you're going to be saying, "Dang, I should have did X, Y, and Z. I should have went back to school, or I should have picked up the camera sooner, or I should have did element. I should have been doing this stuff."
Mm.
That's how I initially even got into content, is because that moment for me, that push on that back came right in the span of time where I was fed up with school
Mm.
and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was taking my break, and then right in that gap between that time and me going back to school,
Mm.
I was open and available. That opportunity came and pushed me on my back, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. What's the worst that could happen?
With me, man. Because I did. I went from like one of my first interviews was Currency,
Hmm.
and it was backstage. It was impromptu. I didn't know to contact management. I ain't know none of that. I just dog. I waited backstage. I didn't even see his show. I waited backstage for him to come back there. Like Wiz was back. This was I don't know if you're familiar with Currency like that, but this was
12 or 11?
you said what?
Was it 2012?
Oh my nigga, this yeah, like 20 yeah, 2011 cuz I was interning at the radio station, and I remember I talked to my music director Silk, RP to him. Silk, he If you ever want to see who he is, he's in a old Trick Daddy video where he comes in at the end. He like waving his hands, looking goofy and shit from Miami. But he had told me like who to hit up or whatever, and I was back there, and this was like 2011, 2012, where Wiz Khalifa was doing his day to days, his day to day vlogs and shit
Mhm.
like that. I met Freddie Gibbs at that time. Didn't really know who he was, but my best friend, my man's D Dollar, which we stay together now. And it's like he knew about him. And he knew about Run DMC and the song he had at the time with Jeezy. This was before he was beefing with Jeezy. And then I was able to meet fucking Ski Beats, who did one of my favorite albums, Reasonable Doubt. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was back there and everything, but I was just focused on doing the interview. And me and Ski Beats, you know, I met Ski. I was happy to meet Ski Beats and everybody else, and Wiz too, because Wiz was actually one of the first people that I watched to learn how to roll up a joint. So I was proud of that. But other than that, even with that, like I just waited because I just wanted to do the interview. And then if you ever been backstage at a concert, they got all they boys, they got all the girls back there and everything. And I didn't care. I just wanted to interview him. Even if it was just like 3 to 4 questions. I just want to get this off. And he even said when it started, he was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, this is an interview?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, man, this is just a quick interview." And I did this shit in front of all his people that was back. It was like at least about 30 motherfuckers back there.
Mhm.
All his people back there. So it's like with me, I don't know, I was just always motivated to keep going. And I used to always wonder, why the fuck is Bow Wow still around? Because Bow Wow was a rapper. Bow Wow went to 106 in Park. He just kept himself adjusted. And then that's why I noticed in the industry, I noticed people that the ones that are still in this game, they keep themselves going like that. They do TV shows, they do hosting gigs, they do little shit like this because it's still a part of their craft. Like you said, you don't want to go off and do shit where it seemed like you clout chasing, like Aaron the plumber. This nigga just fighting niggas every day.
Yeah.
What is you doing, dog? Are you doing content or are you or you just want to be seen all the time? You know what I'm saying? So it's like with you over your years of just doing content now, 'cause you said you started your page about 4 years ago. You was like 24, and I'm pretty sure the people that you collaborated with, or the people that you seen your peers and shit like that, you didn't see niggas come and go.
Yeah. This is when I was doing stuff with AMP.
Hmm.
We would always say like it's gonna be one day we go into the the movie theaters,
Hmm.
and we getting our tickets, we getting our popcorn, and it's gonna be somebody sweeping up the popcorn, and we're gonna say, "Hey, weren't you so and so from a couple
Hmm.
years ago?" And I know that happens in truly every single industry,
Hmm.
where like there's some people that are gonna continue to progress, and there's some people that are just gonna lag behind. And for the most part, a lot of those people that lag behind are the people who just take that nudge that I was talking about, that pivot and nudge, and they just ignore it. They just
Hmm.
ignore it. And I specifically, one of the things is this, what makes AMP so like impressive to me.
Hmm.
Part of it is the anticipation to pivot, but also when the push was coming, they didn't. None of them was like, "Ah, I'm not gonna do it." 2K at the time was dying.
Yep.
Like 2K at the time was straight up going down the track, and these have to be the biggest 2K content creators in the game. Agent at the time was like arguably the biggest from my
Hmm.
understanding. And somebody would ask like, "Well, why is the biggest person in this lane trying to change the lane?" And it's only because that pivot was there. And so now we fast forward to 5 years later, 6 years later, and you're seeing the people that didn't take that turn.
Hmm.
A lot of them got, and nothing wrong with it. I got a job. A lot of them got jobs.
Hmm.
A lot of them are still struggling, trying to still make the same things work.
Mhm.
trying to still make the 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017 method work, and it's
Mhm.
2025, are still trying to do some of just the old, just the old stuff. Um, and it's because they never looked at pivoting. They never looked at a pivot, took it seriously, did their due diligence to try to make it work, try to branch out. And I always ask people like, well, especially when they want to get into content creation, like, what are you doing this for?
Mhm.
Are you are you doing this to just make yourself happy, or whatever the case? Are you doing this to make a lot of money? Are you doing
Mhm.
this to become one of the greatest or whatever the case may be? And if you want to be the biggest in the niche of water bottles,
Mhm.
and the cap of that niche is 60 views a month, and that's what you want to be, all right, that's cool. That's fine. That's dandy. If you want to make this a career though, you got to open yourself up from going to water bottles to electronics to audio equipment to being a vlogger to streaming. You got to be if this is what the atmosphere is saying, you got to be able to do that. Or you're going to be that person when we go into the movies and they sweeping up the popcorn.
Mhm.
We go, "Oh, what weren't you Maddie Water Bottles?
Yeah.
You was the
Yeah,
biggest
that's
water bottle person on YouTube."
yeah, that's true, man. Cause like I said, over the years, I went from interviewing has always been my heart though. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, like I was photographing for a while. You know what I'm saying? If you go to my Instagram, I got, Sir Michael Rocks from Cool Kids and a lot of just innovators from the city of Chicago, including like, a lot of my podcast pictures and stuff like that. And like you said, it's not because I'm doing it just because I'm doing it. I learned it. I
Hmm.
wanted to learn how to take a proper picture. I wanted to learn how to sequence or frame a picture. I learned that when I came into Twitch. I wanted to learn what's the proper material I need to make my sound go through my board and shit like that. Like I wanted to learn that. I've learned that, and I wanted to watch different people how they would stream and things like that. With me, I guess because it's been so long, and I have a job too. I work a regular job too. But for me, as it's been so long of me doing this, it, I think it gets to the point for me where okay, I'm gonna hit some milestones. I'm gonna hit them, but you know, if let's say a complex or whatever want to come to me to do anything, I'm a negotiate a bag
Yeah.
at this point. But am I aiming for that? No, I just want to make great content. Like what I told you before we got on, I want a lot of my interviews and shit to be something that people can go back to. So for me personally, I feel like, yeah, what if I just don't make it? But niggas come back to my shit at the end of the day and say, hey, Chill sat down with this dude, had a good conversation. Chill, did this and did that, or Chill did this for the city. And they do that now. They do that now. Like when I don't go out as much anymore for the music shit no more. Right? I don't really I just kind of do this. I go out at times, and then when niggas see me, they say, "Chill, you really put on for a lot of people." You know what I'm saying? That came out through the city. I was one of the biggest. Uh, you heard of Saba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of the biggest Saba supporters. I think I gave him maybe his second interview. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, like I can hit them up and be like, "What's up, man?" And I want to hit him up now because he finally got a fucking date for his No ID album. And I told his management that I was like, No ID is gonna make you wait because No ID is just a motherfucker that he just makes you wait.
Hmm.
But he finally got a date for the album. I'm proud of him, and I want to sit down with him for an interview. But it's like I have a pride to myself, but at the same time, I guess as getting older, it's kind of like I'm saying fuck that pride, and I just want to sit down with you. It's your choice if you want to sit down with me or not, because we sat down before, but if we sit down this time, he might think. I always think that he might think that it maybe it get too personal because if you listen, I don't know if you listened to his last album or whatever. He had a cousin that died,
Mm.
Then he had another guy that died that we all knew personally. You know what I'm saying? It hurt. It hurt me a lot too because I knew those guys. I've been around for over 10 years. I've been around the city over 10 years. I remember when Saba told me his first his first performance where he got paid. I remember when I first seen Mick Jenkins because of them, and I was like, "Who is this nigga Mick Jenkins?" I was like, because all he did was perform. He performed, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this nigga?" I was like, "This nigga's cold." And ever since then, and so just to this is what I'm saying to you: to see your work years down the line, you're gonna cry a little bit. To see people that you fuck with. My first interview was King Louis. To see him, I'm a big Drake fan,
Mhm.
real big Drake fan. To see him work with Drake, that was beautiful for me. You know what I'm saying? To see Saba on a J. Cole album, that's beautiful for me. Like, so, you know, I just want to say this to the people that you come around or the people that you may meet or whatever like that. Some of us do have these different perspectives of want to be big or just want to be the man. For me, it got to the point where I just wanted to do the work. And I know that might not be the best thing for, motherfuckers to listen to, but I think you should have that still instilled in you as you do the work because I think passion trumps a lot of things when you do a lot of shit.
But those people that like, and I don't think that it's anything wrong with wanting to be the biggest, the best, or whatever the case may be. But what they don't realize though is that um sometimes that might take you off that path. And I don't even think a path is really defined
Hmm.
because I talked about flexibility earlier. But what it can do is make you change who you are, make you be different, make you try things that you're not supposed to, go down paths that you're not supposed to. And I'm talking with a lot of content creators now, because I still do some back end stuff, some production stuff, or whatever the case
Mm,
may be. And a lot of them think that streaming is just the pivot.
mm,
I think that streaming is the way to go. Is how you become the biggest because they see Kai Cenat doing it or whoever else doing it. And the things that they're willing to do to get into streaming, the things that they're willing to do to get into that lane, they're willing to say and do some of the craziest things.
yeah.
I,
Shake
I'm
Ross.
I was, and you know what's crazy? I was just finna say, I'm not about to bring him up, and I was gonna say I'm not about to make a video about him for real, for real. I'm not gonna make another video about him, but some of the stuff that Deshae is doing is crazy. And after that situation at Target, I know a lot of people didn't watch that stream,
Mm,
but he was saying like, yeah, I didn't really even want to get into streaming. It was just what everybody else was doing. And I thought this was gonna be the way to get big and go viral and get popular and stuff like that. But I don't know if you noticed, Deshae had a YouTube series
mm,
that was pumping out at least 1 million views per episode.
mm.
And a crazy number. He
This,
threw all that away. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say the Shake kind of pissed me off a little bit because like I said, I watch a lot of Peaks 100,
Mhm.
and Peaks went to Houston, and Deshae didn't even know who the fuck Peaks was. He was acting like he did, the fake kicking and shit or whatever. He was like, "Oh, you from Maryland?" Like, dog, Peaks always talks about how he's from Maryland. Like, how do you not know that? So yeah, I understand what industry he comes from and what he's already used to, but it's just like my boy.
But he thinks that that's like, instead of staying genuine and true to himself, he thinks that that's the way. So he had that series that was like, he was getting 1 million views per episode,
Mm,
and he threw all that away because he wanted to, hop in this streaming lane. And then, like you said, and I share these same sentiments with like a lot of these content creators. Or I try to at least share it to them. They definitely don't hear it.
mm,
But like you said, when you look back, time is gonna happen. You're gonna get older. Over anything, over anything, are you gonna be able to look back and say, "Yo, I was proud of what I did." And the name that I have today is a reflection of the work that I put in back then. Even if I don't got the most money, even if I'm not the most popular, even if I'm not the X, Y, and Z, is the stuff that I did back then able to, do me well today. And there are some streamers now, like Sneeko and stuff like that, that are realizing like it don't work like that. And Deshae is about to be right there. I don't even know how old he is. I know he's like early 20s, but
Yeah, early 20s.
when he gets into his mid to late 20s and he looks back at some of the stuff that he's done, or he can't get these opportunities because of the stuff that he's done, it's gonna be like, oh, he gonna ask why. And
Mhm,
somebody just gonna say, look, well, scroll down this with me. Just watch this, and I'm gonna show you why it's not gonna happen for you.
mhm. What was a lot of, cause so tell us what you did behind AMP, when you worked for them and everything like that. Cause do you feel like you had a, not saying like an upper hand. Yeah, do you feel like you had an upper hand of just seeing the psyche of how everything works?
Um, I believe so.
Mhm,
And then right after them, it I got an even bigger perspective as to how things work. So I came on to the AMP collective set or whatever because people, I mean, most people should know. My brother's Legend of Winning. Him and Agent did a channel, and they needed some help production wise, small production, charging batteries.
mhm.
Just making sure these little Sony camera batteries is charged, making sure
Simple.
the cameras get to the set, simple stuff. Memory cards is wiped.
Yep.
Um, that went to chairs and props. That went to maybe bigger props. Go to the store and get stuff. Hey, when we're in town, we might need an Airbnb booked, stuff like that.
Mhm,
Then it went to video ideas, making sure that all these things are outlined, make sure we cover all these bases, make sure that we're getting this here, be a part of the editing part. Did this happen when you edit in, et cetera, et cetera. Then it came to, all right, three of us are gonna make an idea. Omar's gonna make the fourth idea, and then we're gonna go from there. And then it went to, all right, we need Omar to start making the ideas. We'll just add on to the ideas with our expertise, and then we'll execute. So
mhm,
at this point, I'm like making whole videos.
mm.
I'm getting assistance from people and stuff like that, but I'm making videos. And so then once we get into post that, because I'm at the time I'm seeing like the ascension of Kaizen. He hadn't started streaming yet, but his YouTube content was taking off.
Yep, yeah, I remember that. I looked back at that. I've seen the one thing about AMP, everybody YouTube content was taking off.
His YouTube content took off, and he was doing different stuff. Because at the time, I mean, people were still playing 2K. People were still doing small time vloggy stuff, just separate channels to try to become influencers. But Kai was still, he had the access and the ability to just try to put on these bigger performances, and he was investing so much into the content.
Mm,
Like Kai was one of the first people I had seen to really like break bread with everybody that he was having in his content, whether it be the kids that were acting in it, the older people that was acting in it, all this stuff like that.
mm,
So from there, I took this as, oh yeah, you definitely gotta, if you want to do it, put the money into it, but also put the legwork into it, put the mind into it. You got to really be invested. I see some cats that are doing a half-ass,
mm,
but you really got to put your mind and your money where your heart is if you want, the positive results or whatever. So I think that I had a leg up, but it's because I had to tread through the mud
mm,
on a individual basis, which kind of goes back to like even me being in school and stuff like that. Is that um I think there was some number that was like, yo, business owners don't succeed until like their third business, for real, for real. The ones that really succeed on their first one, those are outliers.
mm,
But you got to do it, fail, and do it again in order for you to be successful. So when I was with them, I was making videos on the side. They're terrible.
mhm.
They are trash videos. In hindsight, they are very, very bad, but they are trash.
And then
But
then sometimes you gotta make choices that you thinking down the line, like, uh, and it just so real quick, I just wanna say that I had a choice. I had a choice. And you probably gonna look at me crazy. I had a choice. I I had a chance to rap an interview, old chance to rap an interview, old chance. I'm talking about off the drugs, all that. Had an old chance to rap an interview. I had to choose between him and King Louis because I didn't have much space in my camera at the time.
you chose King Louis, right?
I chose King Louis.
Yeah.
I chose King Louis. So these are the sacrifices that we have to take. And I don't know. I never reached out the chance again to do an interview, but it's just like that was so long ago. He probably wouldn't remember my face.
Most people, but and they're not willing to take and make those sacrifices in that time.
Hmm.
They're not willing to stay up at night. They're not willing to go the extra mile, go the extra. That's what I mean about the half assing. I learned the difference between who was going to make it and not make it. That all this stuff is connected by seeing the group,
Hmm.
seeing how the group acts from top to bottom, bottom to top, in between, all that stuff. Who's working the hardest? Who's working the least hardest? And then I was able to take myself out of the group and see, oh snap! Even the least hardest working person in this group is still 10 times more hardworking than the next person that's outside of this group.
Mm.
And that's because that person outside of the group don't even know what hard work even looks like. They
Mm.
don't. I had to bring my group to Atlanta to show them like, yo, this is what like when people working, this is what they mean when they talk about like really doing this content shit. Like they really working. And then when I left AMP and went to work for two more people,
Mm.
and I was watching them. I was like, oh, this is what work means.
Hmm.
It's what real hard work means. And most people don't know that because they don't even get to see it.
Mm. But who's the other two people that you went to after that? If you want to say it.
It's this Minecraft YouTuber named Loverfella.
Okay.
And he just does Minecraft YouTube. For the life of me, I can't remember the person right after. But the Loverfella, he came from corporate America and
Mm.
started doing YouTube.
Mm.
And so he was able to you know, work in and out of doing different content
Mm.
and take it and build his business from the corporate perspective and just implement the YouTube side of it. Kind of like we were talking about with the whole, people were avoiding traditional stuff and then they get into content and then ultimately they end up doing traditional things. He was doing the same um type of thing. And he was killing it.
Mm.
He was killing it. Absolutely. And then I started working with I did start working with some smaller TikTok creators too. Now that showed me too what the not work looks like.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
that
TikTok is a little bit easier.
yeah, they just again when you don't know, you don't know. So I can't fault them in the long run.
Hmm.
But there's some of them people sweeping popcorn.
I would so I just really got in tune with TikTok this year, and I told myself that I'm gonna be just like a repurposed content page,
Mhm.
and that's all I've been doing is just repurposing content, taking clips, clipping people up, putting it out there, and I just put up after like not being active on there for a while, I put up a Mike Epps clip, and this shit got like 60,000 views, 60,000 fucking views off a Mike Epps clip saying that oh Chicago is the hardest city to do comedy in.
Why he say that?
Oh, I mean we real rough, man. We
Oh.
shit we Chicago. Look, I don't know how much you know about. Have you ever been to Chicago?
No, I've never been to Chicago.
Okay, so we some funny motherfuckers out here, man. Okay, we some funny motherfuckers, and we'll roast you. Like we just the biggest. The one thing that we got out here is roasters. If you look at, I don't know if you familiar with any of the Chicago creators out here, like Skinbone. Uh, we got a lot of them like Rico. Um, we got Uncle Hank. Like we have like this resurgence of comedians now, or that's coming out of Chicago. But one thing about Chicago is, yeah, we're quick to roast you.
Mhm.
We quick to get on your ass. And yeah, you just gotta really bring it, man. Like you gotta really bring it in Chicago. He said New York was the first one, but Chicago is the second one. And then he from Indiana too. So
Yeah.
he close by for us. We got Gary, Indiana right over here. So, Freddie Gibbs claims Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana like 15 minutes from where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, yeah, like motherfuckers will roast this shit out of you in Chicago, man. If you don't come right, your shit looking bogus, you looking tacky or whatever. Yeah, niggas get mad. Niggas niggas get roasted in Chicago, man. That's one of our biggest things, man, is the cat on niggas, man. Like even when I was in high school, like that was just one of the biggest things. I remember one time, remember I told you I didn't finish high school, right? The lamest, goofiest nigga named Jeffrey. That's my boy. But his feet was like 16. He wore size 16. Nigga was weird on some side show Bob shit. But he was a goofy. He was kind of like, a goofy at high school, whatever. and my next door neighbor was his boy or whatever. So we eventually had I'm new out there, and so we became friends on some what's that damn movie called? I don't know, the one where he was like, "I'm Michael. I like football. I like baseball." Uh, I, the Wood.
Mhm.
I remember the Wood. So I was like that in the Wood, where I moved out there in high school, met them, and blah blah blah. So this nigga roasted me so bad when he graduated, saying how he finna graduate and I'm not. He roasted me so bad, my nigga. I had to think about my life. I think and I had never seen him roast that good ever. So that's the potential of a lot of Chicago niggas is that even if you ain't that good at roasting, you might get some highlights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might get some highlights. So it's just like, yeah, man, we a tough one, man. We a tough city when it comes to shit like that. You say you like shoes, and as of late, well, you can see on the side. This was my pandemic, and I got way more of these. But this is my pandemic, what they call it, addiction,
Yeah.
where I just bought black Funko Pops. I only have black Funko Pops in my house.
Mm.
I have Ava DuVernay, Walter Payton. I got Balrog. He counts as black, right? Uh, Simi from Coming to America. Tiger Woo. I got Cream Ramonda from Black Panther.
You consider Tiger Woods black?
Yeah, man. We did all that cheating shit. He acting like a goofy and shit. Yeah, he black, man. He cool. He cool.
Okay.
He just a little Asian. Um, John Michelle Basquiat, Whitney Houston, Muhammad Ali. I got way more. I got Prince. I got all that. But this is my pandemic addiction. My new addiction for the past 2 years, I would say, has been shoes like a motherfucker. Shoes, shoes, shoes. Like I just been buying shoes like crazy. But when did yours start? I mean, y'all started a little bit early, right? You and your
Whew.
brother?
Um. So, God, I'm about to sound like an old head.
No, I'm the
Here.
old head here, man.
So, I mean, I remember getting, what is that? The answer fours. I remember
Mm,
getting um you know when yeah, answer fours when AI was in the league.
mm,
I remember the answer fours coming out. And I remember getting a pair of those,
mm,
and that was like a big deal for me, and that probably started my original, I don't want to say obsession with shoes, but just infatuation with shoes.
mm.
And then I could also remember Air Force Ones, the whole
Yeah.
Nelly song and all that stuff like that. And then I can remember, let me see. After that, what got me into sneakers, the LeBron 7.
Mm,
The LeBron 7 was everything that I needed, cuz ultimately as I'm older now, I understand why. Shoes are important to me. My own personal comfort is important to me. Mobility, flexibility, being in a certain type of shape, and then technology.
mm,
And this is my favorite player. So all those blended into one. And that was like what really sparked it. So this had to come out with his seventh year in the league.
mm,
Whatever his seventh year in the league was, 08, 09 or something like that.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
because him and Melo came around '03.
oh 03,
Oh, oh,
yeah.
oh, oh.
So I don't know, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 9, 10.
Mm,
08, 09, 9, 10, or whatever. 9, 10, I think is it. But nonetheless, so at that point I'm hooked. I,
mhm,
I'm hooked, but we couldn't get shoes. My mom had a cap.
mm,
I'm like $100 was the cap. If we
mm,
hadn't, and for my brother, that was especially hard because he had a bigger foot than me. But 100, she was never spending over $100 for a tennis shoe.
mm,
So eventually, I had to do what I had to do to get shoes.
mm,
And then what got me into the sneakerhead realm of things was my first shoe being the Cardinal 7.
mhm.
That probably came out when I was in, or re-released at least when I was in high school.
I
And ever
got
since
I got a
then,
pair of
yeah, ever since then the floodgates open. Ever
okay,
since then the floodgates open.
and they treat the people treat the Cardinal 7 so bad because they bricked.
They are. But I wanted them so bad. I ended up buying a size. I think I bought a size and a half over my size, or maybe like a size over my size, just to say that I had some Jordans. And I was double socked, and I left some of the tissue paper in the front.
Yeah,
And but just to say I had it.
man, my parents they used to sit there and give me hella shit for just my first pair of Jordans was the taxis when they
Mm,
first came out.
good pair though.
Yeah, there was the taxis, man. They bought me and my sister and everybody. We had a pair of taxis, and I didn't realize just how I realized how cold they was, but it didn't start my sneaker addiction. But then I also had the He Got Games, and before they called them He Got Games, but I used to love the movie He Got Games
Yeah.
too. I'm a big also Spike Lee. Trust me, I got a Spike Lee Funko too. I'm a big Spike Lee fan. I love Spike Lee's music. Even I love Spike Lee's music to the point where I told niggas that Kendrick's music is like Spike Lee. It's like a Spike Lee
Movie.
movie. And look what he do at the Super Bowl. Look who's one person that he put out there that was in a lot of Spike Lee movies. Even when he did Chirac, who was in that movie? Samuel L. Jackson.
Hmm.
So you know what I'm saying. So it's like I don't know. I like to see these correlations that I you know what I'm saying. I like to see these correlations that I've been noticing and just analyzing from music and up to that point. Now the addiction is that yes, I'm one of them old heads that like okay, I'm getting a little bit of money right now, and I can spend some change, and you know what I'm saying like I can spend some change for some shoes. Like fuck it. So I've been just buying shoes like crazy. I'm trying to. There's the one shoe that I really want. I'm not going to pay that much for because I got to cap my damn self. Is the and people gonna think I'm crazy, but it's the lost and founds. Like
Oh,
I
really?
just yeah, I like the packaging of it and everything like that. But it's just like man, I'm a retail nigga. Like I just bought the flu games and I caught them off sneakers on retail.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So I got and I got the Lost and Found. The Lost and Founds was like my first since I've come into like some adult money. That was my first.
Mm,
I paid resale for it, and I'm not gonna lie. I definitely overpaid. I
mm,
don't regret overpaying,
mhm.
but at the same time, I miss, and I guess every old person says this. Older person says I miss the ability to just get them for retail. And that was that brief period this past year or whatever where
Mhm.
I just walk in, you pick up whatever you want. I was able to walk in and get like the black cement threes just off a walk in and pick it up.
Yep.
But oh my god, well, and I know this for you. I do want to ask for somebody coming from Chicago, living in
Yeah.
Chicago,
Mm.
your first pair of Jordans must have felt like you was the man. Like,
I mean, if you ever see He Got Game with Denzel got them damn Jordans, he was how he had a smile on his face. It was like it was always like that, man. Like Jordans, even when I used to watch a lot of Martin back in the day, and remember, it was an episode of Martin when he gave his taxes away, and there was another episode of Martin where he went over budget in his like he dipped into his like wedding
mhm,
money and shit like that, and bought a whole sweatsuit shit and some Jordans. So it's like with me, yeah, any type of Jordan for me is still like is beautiful, man. Like I'm addicted to sneaker content. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I'm even so addicted. Like with the Lost and Found, yeah, I do want them one day, but I'm happy with my Spider Mans because I'm also
mhm.
like I'm a Marvel nerd too, so I'm happy with my Spider Mans, and I only wear my Spider Mans when I go to see a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I don't, that's how nerdy I'm out with it. You know what I'm saying? I love them. So it's like, and I got other shoes too. I got the Drakes. I got the Noctas, and I love those. Very comfortable. Don't yeah. Go get some Noctas in your life. OVO. And I'm a Kendrick fan too. I'm a Kendrick fan too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big Kendrick fan too. Like I fuck with Kendrick. I remember I seen Kendrick when it was only 20 niggas in the audience. I seen Travis Scott when it was only 20 niggas in the audience. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's just like, and I got other stuff too, like foam posits, and what else I got? Like Pumas and shit like that. But it's just like, man, yeah, getting some Jordans, bro,
It's a different feeling.
it is a different feeling, and you just want to cherish them. You damn near don't even want to wear them. I got some blacksmiths that I don't even know when I'm gonna wear them. You know what I'm saying? So
See,
It
I
is
think
different.
for the kids nowadays, this is like one of my biggest gripes. For the kids nowadays, they don't have that
Mhm,
thing. I get so pissed off at Nike. So pissed off. The Galaxy phones just recently re-released.
mhm.
And I say to myself, because that was a shoe from my era,
Yeah.
like 2012, but this is like, me falling in love with this. The kids today have no connection to something like that,
Yep.
to where it feels almost like, I mean, I can vividly remember walking in Shannon Mall in
Mhm,
Union City, Georgia. It does not exist no more.
mhm,
And walking past one of them displays in Foot Locker, and just in the window, and it
mhm.
having the technology of the LeBron 7 and LeBron doing his dunk, and they going through all the specifications. And mind this, at the time, LeBron is like, I think he's here now, but he is up here to me. And I'm just like infatuated with this shoe and this image and all this stuff. How
Mhm.
is a kid supposed to fall in love with some stuff from my era? When are they going to get their own thing? When do they get their own thing to fall in love with?
It's that's true because, like, with the flu games, I watched that game.
Yeah,
Like, it's just like I even told D Nice, I was like, "Damn, man," I was like, "I'm so happy that I got this pet for retail." Like, I didn't even think I was gonna hit. I was still gonna get it, but I was just so happy that I got this pet for retail, and I just like 12s anyway. I think more older people, we love 12s and 13s a lot.
but the game, but and I don't mean to cut you off, but the
Oh,
game
yeah.
that you watched,
Mhm.
and I know, like, in real time, you thinking to yourself, because the word is out or whatever, the verbiage is out, Michael's sick or whatever, you watching it. Um, but just sitting there watching it, like, man, Michael is doing this, and
Mhm.
this shoe is the connection to it.
Mhm.
And now you own the shoe. Like, it just comes so full circle,
Mhm.
as opposed to somebody who's 13, 14, hell, even my age buying it. Ain't even no circle to really. I don't got no connection to the flu game for real. Like, I
They
didn't
don't.
watch that.
They don't. It was just a video going around. Cause like I said, I watch a lot of shoe content. Dawg, I sit here and watch 2 hours of motherfuckers just selling shoes. I watch Cool Kicks. I watch a couple of smaller people that do like shoes reselling and shit,
Mhm.
like resellers and stuff. And it was just a thing with Cool Kicks that just happened that I posted on my TikTok of them getting into it with a customer. And so what they was getting into it with a customer was because he bought like 20 pairs of flu games and tried to sell them. And it was like, man, we got too many of these already. And it's just like what you just said, like they don't appreciate it. They don't they already selling this shoe. The Kobe the Kobe girl dads. Like I'll be watching the shit and I'll be like, damn, y'all bringing these in already? Like y'all just don't appreciate the shit. Like I just don't appreciate the shit. Now, one thing I would say though, I'll probably never buy LeBron. Word to Dom Kennedy, don't wear LeBrons in the club. That shit ugly. And you looking like that, but if you was around my age, you would know exactly why I wouldn't buy LeBron.
I don't. Well, let me say this, and this be my problem with people. The old heads getting mad at the young guys. The young guys
Mhm,
getting mad at the old heads. Um, is that I believe that during your time, everybody has their own thing. Everybody has their
mhm,
own time period. This meant X, Y, and Z to me during that
mhm.
time. So, like, I couldn't even really explain to you how vividly I remember walking through the Foot Locker, seeing that LeBron image.
Right, right.
I can't even explain to you watching the LeBron and Kobe puppets back in their old Nike ad. I was
Mhm.
in middle school.
Yeah, I
Somebody
remember
somebody
those.
sent me a video about it because it just came across their timeline. They sent me a video of us in middle school singing that song.
Mhm.
So, like, I have my own things,
Right.
and trying to mix it with I just don't have that relation. So I wouldn't expect you to buy LeBrons. I really wouldn't, only
Mhm.
because that's not your era. That's not your generation.
Not even that. Not even that. And that's why I said you look like that. You needed to watch the Bulls and LeBron games. LeBron used to disrespect the fuck out of us. LeBron used to get into it with Joakim Noah all the time. And we the type of niggas that if you ain't fucking with him, he not fucking with you. I'm telling you, that's why. This ain't no generational thing. This ain't no LeBron dog. Did you forget that we used to compete with them in the playoffs with D Rose in them, and how mad we would get. And LeBron one time, I remember this shit. It was the playoffs. Nigga over there dancing, and we was going at it too. One game to define them all. He dancing, doing all this shit. Yeah, man. LeBron got a little sour taste in a lot of Chicago niggas' mouths. That's just a little history for you right there.
I'm a Hawks fan, so
Okay.
we was in that. Y'all were the conference finals or the semifinals.
Mhm.
We was the first round where he was really smacking us and dancing.
Yeah.
But trust me,
Okay.
I
But see, you
yeah,
used to get into it with Joakim a lot.
yeah, he did used to. Yeah, I remember the back and forth. The what's there to do in Cleveland? I remember all that. Yeah,
Yeah, and Joakim was really our heart, dog. Joakim, that Joakim, dog. My man's got a poster. We got paintings right now of Joakim and D Rose. Man, those was some real figures out here. That's why when you seen all this D Rose coverage, the only nigga that was with him was Joakim, a New York nigga.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, man, yeah. What's your favorite shoe as of right now, or just any type of shoe?
Um, do I have it around me? I don't have it around me. So the new Jordan 4s, that bike,
Oh, the Nigels.
The Nigels,
Yeah.
Nigel Sylvester shoe. That is, I already know. I've already made the decision. I got my list of shoes.
Mhm.
Um, that's already one of them. I don't. The resale, it don't necessarily matter. It's
Mhm.
gonna be my one. I don't buy too many things for myself, so this is gonna be my thing for the year.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just go ahead and just I wear this specific pair of Hokas
Mhm.
all the time. Hoka Aura Primo. It
Mhm.
is a clog shoe. It's a real strange shoe. It's just, I love it. It's comfortable. I'm more comfort now than anything. Every
Okay.
once in a while, about the flash. Nike Vomeros,
Mhm.
another running shoe.
Yep.
Um, the Yeezy 700 will still that's in my like top 5 shoe of all time.
Mm.
And then, dang, what's another shoe that I just got that I can't say this in my top shoe because I haven't. But those four right there have got to be my go-to, my rotation. I have shoes I don't even pull them out the box anymore. Like I have so many Jordans that I don't pull out the box anymore just because I I don't know. I'm more of a comfort guy now. I'm so
Mhm.
much more of a comfort guy. And they're almost like, I don't want to say collectibles because I'm a firm believer in wearing the shoes, but
Mhm.
I feel like when I get those Nigels though, I'm gonna wear the life out of them.
I mean, they're a nice shoe. I like red is my favorite color. Um, and they're definitely a nice shoe. I just think I got too many fours. Me personally, I got too many fours of it, and it's other fours that I kind of like too over the Nigel. But I do respect them.
And I respect the fact that, again, like I was saying earlier, that this is something for this generation to like and attach themselves and grab to. They Nike put out they got a Wu-Tang dunk.
Yeah,
They put it out last year. I think it was last year or the year before.
it was last year.
Yeah, last year. But I was like, I don't the kids don't know who care. Not respectfully speaking, who
Yep.
care? Like I don't who cares? Who cares about the Wu-Tang clan? Like for real, for real.
No, no, not really, not nobody. Be
Even though,
honest with you.
and I know the old heads might really get mad at that, but from the perspective that I am in,
Mhm.
like I'm 28 and I don't know anything about the Wu-Tang Clan.
Mhm.
Think about the kids, the young boys that are really buying the shoes and stuff like that. Dog, these aren't the Playboy Cardis. These aren't the Travises. These aren't the Kai Cenat threes.
Right, right.
They don't know nothing about Method Man and Red Man and ODB. They don't know nothing about that.
Man, I would say one sneaker that I would love to get, I probably will never get in my life, is the Red Octobers. The Red Octobers, I know I'll probably never get in my life, but the Red Octobers, man, look, when Kanye came out with them Red Octobers, I know one of his DJs, DJ Mano, and when I seen that he had gave him one of them, I had seen Mano one day. I was like, "Nigga, I'm jealous, man. You got them Red Octobers, man. I hope you still got them in your closet." I be telling them that. I be like, "I hope you got them in your closet, man, because and oh man, it was just even when Kai shit had snapped or whatever
Yeah.
on the Shannon Sharp shit, I would have still got them shits fixed. And he probably did too, hopefully. But it's
Yeah.
just like, man, I don't wear dunks, so I'm not into dunks like that. But
Okay.
but them Red Octobers, man, oh my God. Yeah, yeah, that's one shoe that I would love to have. I probably would never even wear it. I would
I
just have it
I
crib.
agree.
Yeah, I
All of the pure platinums,
mhm,
yeah, all the Yeezy 2, the Nike Yeezy 2s.
mhm,
If I had to have like a grail shoe, that would probably be it. And then the original pair of LeBron 7s. That's my great.
mm,
These are my grail shoes though.
mm. Motherfucking, what was I about to say? What's I can't think of another grill. I guess if I stop being cheap and I just go and get the lost and founds, that'll be a grill for me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I wear my grills, man. Like the black on top of white playoffs, the
Mhm.
12s.
Mhm.
I love them shits. I be wearing them shits like a motherfucker. Like my 13s, my the other playoff 13s, that's all black and white at the Panther ones. I wear them like a motherfucker. So it's just like I don't know, man. Yeah, it's just it's a few pairs that I have that I don't I haven't got to wear yet or whatever. But it's just like I'm gonna get to them one day. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to 'em one day. But I do want to put a little bit more variety in the stuff I'm getting. So that's why I've been like looking at the foams and I just copied some copper foams. I never had no phones, but I do love the design of phones and shit.
Mhm.
Um, shit, I even got some. I can't even think of. It's like the Air. There's Chicago Air. It's with the air on the side, but it's a Chicago version. It's all red or whatever. I can't think of
Their
it.
foams?
Up tempos.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
up tempo.
up tempo.
Oh, Scotties, yeah.
Yeah, the up tempo. See, yeah, you call it Scotties. I think these are just more like the Chicago version
Mm.
or whatever like that. Like I said, I'm real biased. I'm a biased nigga with my city, man. Like any type of information from Chicago, I like to soak it up. I don't give a damn what it is. Oh, Cardi's album. Oh, it's produced by Kanye. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm gonna let people know like part of that produced by Kanye. Like you know what I'm saying. Like up to up to like just I don't know anything just in music, anything that's in like movies to the point where Spider-Man 2 had to be filmed in Chicago
Mhm.
because and I'm talking about the Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock Spider-Man 2, the one that the niggas love that they call a classic. Those train scenes
Yeah.
had to be filmed in Chicago because we're the only ones that had trains like that. So a lot of those train scenes and part of it was in LA. You know what I'm saying? Even the recent Batman that just came out, a part of that was in like Oscawago or some shit, and a part of that was in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So it's like any little known detail fact like that, I like to put that shit into it or whatever. But man, man, this has been a great conversation, bro. I appreciate it, man. I hope you appreciate it too. I do want to put just got to put the last question in perspective.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself, your channel, and just like your legacy, man? Because I think out of like the souls and everybody like that, respect to them. You're one of the top people that I like to hear commentate on this culture. So, how do you see yourself?
So the real short answer is I don't I don't even like I don't like to look that far. Now I
Mm,
do have a dream.
mhm,
I do have a dream. So I don't like to look that far, comma. I do have a dream. My dream is YouTube is going towards like TV.
yep.
You know, people just it's just shifting that way. Content creation is going towards more professional, all that stuff like that. I want to make a whole live set,
Mm,
like a late night show set. Like the Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon's or whoever.
mhm,
So I know people call Kai's platform like late night TV,
mhm,
but just from that perspective, but with more production and all that other stuff like that that goes into it. I want to eventually be able to bring in guests. I want to eventually be able to have different segments, all this stuff. Get back into live streaming, but even on the produced videos, have them more in depth. Have them be 20-minute, 25-minute think pieces about specific topics or whatever the case may be.
mm,
Um, but all this from like a really, really, really produced set. I'm really into YouTube production, and anybody's taking production seriously right now. So that's the long term, if
mm,
I had to say. But in reality, I'm open. I'm
mhm,
open to whatever is happening. Because again, like I said, if I never kept myself open, to just the original AMP job, I would not be here.
Mm,
If I would have never said, you know what, I'm only working 25 hours a week. Let me go ahead and just pick up, some days with y'all and charge the batteries and bring them there. I would have never even thought about, just going down this path. I would have never ended up on the podcast that I got. Let's keep it a buck. I would have never picked up a camera for myself, started talking on the camera. I would have never gotten down that path. So I could be heading into this commentary lane where I get more professional and something might present itself in front of me that also piques my creative interest. And I could definitely go that way. I
mhm.
don't want to shut myself out because I'm trying to be so stubborn and rigid, whatever the case may be.
Okay, okay. Man, my blessings to you, man, is just keep going. Blessings to your family, as you're building and everything. Blessings to your platform that you're building. A lot of you brothers are doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, and even though yeah, I don't like LeBron, but I do like that he puts niggas on. Okay, I do like that. Okay, it's just the basketball part,
Yeah.
and that's the same reason why I adore a lot of you young guys too. And like I said before, I'll say it again. Peer to peer is what inspired me to really reach out to a lot of content creators and to really sit down with them because I know I can interview, and I wanted to put that towards that too. I interviewed, like I said, Danny from the Stop, Dre the Shoe Guy, which is a sneaker content. My man Chris Crack, um, and even D Money. He's a commentator for like he's a commentator for like Back on Fig and No Jumper content and shit like that. And I appreciate all you guys that just keep going and doing your thing. I just want y'all niggas to keep going and doing your thing, man. And like I said, I want to be the watcher, man, on What If. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the just that guy to be. I'm like I don't know. I just love it. I just love seeing that. And I love that you was able to just come on the platform and to have this in depth conversation with me, man. Because I even though I interned at the radio station, I never wanted to do cookie cutter interviews.
Yeah.
That just I always stood away from that, and I'm glad that I'm able to just make a lane for myself. And yes, it did a lot of sacrificing. Yes, I got a full time job, but still, this shit for me is not gonna stop. And I'm 39. You know what I'm saying? This shit for me is not gonna stop, man. So if I can inspire you like y'all inspire me, hey man, look, that's all we need down there. Let's get money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate it. You do serve as inspiration. I appreciate all of it.
Appreciate it, man. So, yeah, man. Thank you, man. Anything else you want to leave off with before we get up out of here? 'Cause I'm
Uh,
gonna probably upload this tonight.
there we go. Shouts out to Let's Keep It a Buck. Mondays and Thursdays live on YouTube. Shouts out to the Old Meezy channel. Shouts out to the creators that are sticking to it and staying open, that are doing the right things. Um, you know, where you end up is going to be what's right for you
Mhm.
at the end of the day. Um, don't try to steer in these wrong directions because it is easy to in life. It's just easy to get off that path. So, and the path being the right path, you
Yeah,
know,
that's true, man. And never stop, man.
never stop,
Never
never stop.
stop. And make these niggas content.
There we go. There we go. Now that's facts too.
So yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank for the stream for tuning in. And yeah, like I said, I'm gonna put this up on YouTube, man. Probably tonight. I'm just gonna throw it up there. You know how I do. And yeah, man. Thank y'all
Appreciate you.
for sure. And we are. Oh, and like subscribe. Do you see? I'm new to YouTube. Subscribe and do all the other shit if y'all want to do that. And yeah, yeah, and leave comments. I don't give a fuck what you say. Whatever, nigga. I'll roast you back. One.